And speaking of discipline and hard work and taking stuff to the next level, are one of my icons, one of my favorite people in the world, obviously passed away yesterday in a tragic crash, and that's Kobe. And I know for a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this they were super in love with the guy. I want to speak on it a little bit just because I feel like the guy as an entire character, not just basketball, but just like the way what he brought to the game and the way he kind of carried himself was just like transcended. It was something that was, to me, was more so um, fulfilling to watch versus just the basketball side of things.
Yeah.
Seeing his interviews, seeing his documentaries, certain traits that I really wanted to emulate in my own life. I'm sure it was like so many people wanted to. Yeah, man. What are your thoughts on just the guy? I don't know how close you felt about this icon.
Absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
Um, it's even hard to talk about now. I mean, I found out yesterday, and I was in absolute shock initially. I didn't know how to feel.
Yeah.
I was at the gym. I was with KB. He was about to spar. I got the news a couple minutes after it was released, and
Yeah.
I had to verify the news 2 or 3 times. And I mean, KB's getting ready for the most important fight of his life. He's sparring. His coaches are there. His training partners are there, and I'm like, this guy kind of felt like alone for a couple of seconds there. And I said, KB, I just couldn't handle. It was unbearable.
Yeah.
Right? I could not believe it. And I showed it to him. And then the whole gym kind of found out around the basis of me showing KB, and then people kind of gathered around and everybody was in a state of shock. Sparring proceeded. That was a minor distraction for something that was massive. That was kind of a buffer point before I really understood what happened.
Yeah.
And we jumped in the car, and I kind of felt shocked still. And then I drove home, and that's when it hit me.
Yeah.
I really thought about what Kobe meant for me. Of course, I didn't know him personally, but being a massive basketball fan growing up and seeing him torch the Raptors and seeing him just absolutely dominate the league for so many years, and just to see his personality, his discipline, his hard work, his leadership, it transcended sports. He was one of those guys where you didn't have to know basketball. You didn't have to know what a foul was. You didn't have to know what a free throw was. But guess what? You knew what Kobe was.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was on that level of Michael Jordan. He was on that level of being untouchable.
Yeah.
And I was really choked up. He was a guy that I drawn an unbelievable amount of inspiration from in my own endeavors with athletic endeavors, I guess you can call it, with boxing, with hockey. It didn't have to be basketball. It had to be the discipline. It had to be the principle behind succeeding. And I looked up to him for a long time.
Yeah.
And I still do. And just hearing the devastating news that not just him, but his daughter and nine people that ended up dying that were mothers, brothers, sisters, daughters, sons. It was a tough one to swallow.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.